As guitarists, we all hit these plateaus where it seems like no matter how much we practice, we just can't get to that next level.
Yeah, it can be really annoying, it can be disheartening, but we all go through it.
That's why we wanted to create this video on 8 tips to overcome the dreaded guitarist plateau.
Yeah, so here they are. Stay tuned.
All right, tip number 1, narrow your focus. If you're anything like me, I love a lot of different types of music. I like metal, I like fingerstyle, I like blues, I like shreddy fusion stuff. But if I try to focus on all of them at once, I'm gonna be spread so thin that I'm not really gonna make a lot of progress on any of them. You end up like Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings, where he says, I feel like butter that's spread too thin on toast. And I'm really guilty of that. Oftentimes in the past, I will make these giant lists of things to practice and I'll hit it really hard for 2 weeks. And I'll just run out of gas and not make much progress in any one area. The solution to that is to really narrow your focus to the one most important thing. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be fingerstyle, it can be reading music, it can be the blues, but narrow your focus and put your time in on that, the lion's share of your time. And when you do that over a sustained period of time, we'll talk about that later, you will notice progress and you will get better over time. The times in my life when I've noticed the most progress in my guitar playing have been really on this porch. A couple years ago it was for fingerstyle. Right now it's for the blues because I'm making that my one primary focus, and I'll practice other stuff too, but I have to put in my time for whatever the one thing is that I want to get good at. And I'm not saying you can only practice one thing, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is pick the one thing that means the most to you, put your time in on that, and then you use the rest of your time to, just have fun on the guitar and do whatever else you like.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you've heard of a neuroscientist named Dr. Caroline Leaf. She has a podcast, and I was listening to it one time where she was talking about New Year's resolutions, but I think it would really apply here, because she talks about how at the beginning of the year we get so excited about all our goals, and we have like 20 that we want to hit, and we are just trying to do them all at once, and our brains aren't actually designed to be focusing on so many things at once. Yeah. So her suggestion for your brain was to pick one thing per quarter. So every 3 months, pick one thing that you're going to really focus on. Number 2 is consistency. I think that's kind of like the key to life, to getting better at anything. And I'm going to read a quote for you by Aristotle. It says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." Yeah. So how can we make this a habit? Maybe it's committing to practicing guitar for 20 minutes at a time, 4 to 6 days a week. For me, I've found that just committing to 5 minutes a day has actually been really useful, because consistency is more useful than just doing like an hour-long practice once a month.
And it's tough because you don't see results immediately when you're consistent with smaller bits in your practice. You think that if you hit it hard for a week and do 3 hours a day, that it's going to be this big change in your playing, and that's generally not the way it goes. It goes like, and we'll get into this more in the next point, but like over the next year, if you're consistent for a year, you're going to see some big results.
Yeah, and I've been guilty in the past of laying my guitar down for months at a time, which obviously is not the consistent thing to do. So when I was transitioning into motherhood, I still wanted to keep up my guitar practice. So that 5 minutes a day commitment helped me to consistently pick up my guitar and keep learning, even though I had this whole big life change going on at the time.
Yeah, and for some people, just starting and sitting down with the guitar is the hardest part. So just doing 5 minutes a day and committing to that is really cool, because nobody likes to sit down and not be good at something, right? Or some people, including myself, have the mindset, if I can't do at least an hour, then what's the point? Yeah. Well, that's not really true. It's getting your hands on the guitar every day and being consistent about things that is going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah, and the 5 minute a day commitment was actually an idea I got from Atomic Habits by James Clear. Although he suggests 2 minutes a day, I decided to do 5 minutes because that's the length of a song-ish. So yeah.
And if you can't do 5 minutes a day, this is going to sound harsh, but do you really want it? And that's a good kind of litmus test for yourself.
Yeah, so one tool that we've created that we would love to gift you with if you're a member of the Guitar Fam is the Guitar Fam practice plan. And that's really going to help you to be consistent, to make a plan, to figure out how much time you can commit to each day.
And it's a complimentary course. All you have to do is go create a free account on guitarfam.com. Tip number 3 is to play the long game. And by that, I mean, when you're working on a new technique or a new song and you go 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and it's just not where you want it to be yet, that can be really frustrating. But as guitarists, we can't measure our progress in days or even weeks, sometimes even months. I think it's a lot more beneficial to measure your progress in quarters, 6 months, or a year. That way, if you're consistent with your practice, like tip number 2, and you look back after 6 months, if you're consistent, you're going to notice a big change. And that's what I've really started to do with myself. Like right now, I'm working on improvising. I'm not going to check in on myself till probably 6 or 8 months from now, as far as checking my progress. And I kind of used myself as a guinea pig when I did the fingerstyle masterclass and the blues course that I'm doing right now too. It took me a year and a half to notice really solid progress that I was happy with playing fingerstyle. So let that be an encouragement to you. If it takes you a long time to learn a song, that's pretty normal. In fact, one of my favorite guitar players, I'd say he cracks the top 20, John Finn, he's a professor at Berklee College of Music. He said the number one thing that he has students come into him and talk to him about that they have a misconception about is how long it will take them to learn a song and have it be ready to perform live in front of somebody. He said that's the number one thing. So
I find that really encouraging.
Yeah, it is really encouraging. So don't be discouraged when you've been working on a song for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. Sometimes it just takes a long time, but you have to be consistent at it. And keep having fun while you're doing that too, while you're working on that hardcore work. Do other things that are fun with your other time remaining in your practice,
Yeah, and something this reminds me of is recently one of our members posted in our Facebook group. It was a video of a classical guitar player, and he said that whenever he approaches a piece of music, he now thinks of it as this really large volume, this big book, and you don't sit down with a huge tome and think, oh, I'm going to get through this by next week. No, you think to yourself, I'm going to be in this for a while. So he takes that same approach with the new musical pieces that he's learning.
And this is kind of a side note, but if you have a narrow focus, like say you're doing the blues, you'll get faster at learning blues things because you'll start to accumulate skills, right? But if you're hopping around from one style to another, you're never going to really build those skills to get faster at learning stuff too. So.
Okay, tip number 4 is to revisit your first love or your why. Why did you pick up guitar? So is there a particular artist or album that really inspired you? Like, oh, I want to sound just like them. Or did you pick up the guitar for another reason? Maybe you have a grandchild who has an interest in music and you want to connect with them. Maybe you want to get into songwriting and guitar is a way for you to do that. Maybe you saw people playing at an open mic and you thought, oh, I want to do that. So whatever it is, make time for that first love again. Revisit that reason. If it was to spend time with a loved one, then make time to do that. If it was to go to an open mic or songwriting, then
pencil it in.
Yeah, then pencil it in. Because sometimes we can lose our way a little bit, I think, as we kind of go along.
Especially when we get bogged down in like technical things or even like music theory. Learning songs is one of the biggest themes you're going to see throughout all these tips and relating everything back to that. Yeah. And that really, songs, again, everything comes back to your first love. Songs. I loved when I first started playing guitar, putting a rock CD on, cranking the distortion up and seeing if I could figure it out. That's it.
Yeah, and this is a tip that I do quite frequently. I'll have these days where I just, I'm not feeling it. So I'll go on and find some guitar players that I find inspiring, and I'll watch live footage of them on YouTube or something.
Yeah, but who is that? Who you got there?
Yeah, Joanna Connor is one of them that I watch, and her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tip number 5 is always have a musical goal. And you may be thinking, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean always be learning a song or practicing something for an open mic or for recording a video or recording, just audio or jamming with a friend. Always have some kind of goal like that behind you, pushing you, because there are going to be times when you get home where you just do not feel like practicing and you need that extra motivation to kick you in the pants because you have an open mic coming up on the 13th or whatever. So you're going to have to practice or otherwise you're going to fall on your face, right? So that's what I'm talking about that. And this kind of pertains back to SMART goals. You can find out more about those in the Guitar Fan Practice Plan course. But if you have a goal, it needs to have some kind of time-based thing attached to it, so you don't just keep working on the song forever and don't feel any motivation to really hit your practice pretty hardcore. Also, if you don't have a goal or a musical goal, like a song that you're learning, it's going to be really hard to keep that motivation over a long period of time, and it's going to be really hard to know when you've reached your goal or have any kind of qualifier and be like, nope, I can do this, I'll file it away, and if I want to pick it back up later, I can. That'll be kind of your litmus test for have I reached this goal.
Yeah, so just more on what exactly is a musical goal. What we don't mean is something that's super general, just like I want to get better. Okay,
Yeah, I want to be a good blues player.
What does that mean exactly? Or just doing drills all the time.
Like technique drills. Like I could play at 200 beats per minute with a scale, but is that really musical? It might help you get to some musical things, but it's not.
It's a tool.
It's a tool, yeah. And like a good example of this is Chelsea is learning the solo for Thrill Is Gone right now. That is a good musical goal. And she wants to film a video for it by a certain date. So that's her goal.
Tip number 6 is to surround yourself with like-minded people. Maybe you've heard it said that you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Yep. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I'm sure there are other things that affect who you are. But the spirit behind that is that you are affected by the people that you hang out with. And so you want to find people who have the same goals as you, who are excited about the guitar, who want to get themselves better with their playing, and that will start to rub off on you. And this is something that we're really passionate about. That's why we're called the Guitar Fam. We're really passionate about the fam part, the community part. So we've got a Guitar Fam forum. If you're a member, make sure that you go in there, introduce yourself to the other members. If you are a member, then we also have a Facebook group. Yep. For you to join. You'll be able to go there and interact with other people, share your goals, share your wins,
your progress,
but then also the things that you're struggling with so that we can support you. And also we have live streams. We do a live stream every single month, the last Thursday.
Last Thursday of every month. We live right by an airport. So.
Yeah. The last Thursday of every month, and this is a way that we can get together live, chat with each other, and just really have that family connection.
And you could even submit videos for student reviews if you want, or just to share your progress updates. Tip number 7 is to break things down into their smallest components. Let's say you want to learn an Eagles song, for example, but you don't know where to start with it. It can be kind of difficult to start, or know where to start with a song, especially if it's a little bit above your pay grade, right? Well, songs are made up of chords. You have to be able to change between those chords. You have to be able to do the strumming pattern. You have to be able to stay in time. And if there are any riffs in there, you have to be able to play those. So breaking your practice time down into those smallest components instead of just jumping right to the song and trying to play it and then wondering why, like, I just can't get this through the song. It's just too hard, right? Yeah. Separating the challenges out into their own little components before putting them together is the way to like have your own self-fulfilling and self-generating practice routine, because you have to work on your strumming. You have to work on your timing. You have to work on your chords. If there's one chord that's bottlenecking it, you'll have to put some extra time into that, and then you'll have to work on the transitions between the chords. And if you do that all individually and then bring it together, you have a lot easier time getting through the song. So anytime you're struggling with something, break it down to its smallest components, and you can separate the left hand from the right hand. That's a good way to start with that.
Yeah, and my version of this is maybe less about the technique and more about the measure. Like I might go measure by measure. Yeah. Like, okay, I'll learn these 2 measures or these 4 measures. Once I have that, then I will move on to the next ones. And tip number 8 is to stay positive. Don't listen to those people who maybe say, you'll never be a good guitar player, or even yourself. Sometimes I struggle with this. I'll have critical thoughts about myself that I'll never be able to reach my goals.
One thing that's helped me a lot with that is this book called The Inner Game of Music. And it really trains you and shows you how to identify that kind of negative voice, especially when you're performing live, whether it's a live show, in the studio, in a video, how to identify and shut it out and focus on other things. It's helped me a lot, even when I did an Eagles cover solo guitar lesson.
Super long solo.
Yeah, super long solo. It was for Hotel California, and as soon as I was recording the video for it playing, I heard these thoughts like, oh, you're not going to get through it this time. I was like, nope, I shut it off. And I got it done really quickly, so it was really cool. It's a really good book to help you with that.
I was in our bedroom and he marched in after it was done and pulled out Inner Game of Music and pointed at it very proudly. Yeah, I remember that. It works. And one thing I'm working on retraining myself with is to not think, I can't do this, but to think, I can't do it yet. And you remember, guitar playing is hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right. So we hope these tips will help you overcome the plateau that you're currently on. If you have any tips that have helped you in the past, feel free to share them below in the comments.
Yeah, and if you have not created your complimentary account yet at guitarfam.com, then make sure you do that. That will give you access to the Guitar Fam practice plan, so you'll be able to set yourself up for success with your guitar goals. And it'll also open up the door for you to be able to connect with our community through our forum, through our Facebook group, and through our live streams.
Yeah, see you guys later. Bye.